Hello everyone, thank you for coming up today. My old subscribers, thank you. And to those that are viewing for the first time or that have not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. And to my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Please do not forget to hit on the like button. Friends, this old man is 84 years old and he's called Peter Ayuk. Today, Peter is highly disappointed at his wives, and he is claiming that his wives abandoned him. He married two women, and now they are married to other men. It's going to shock you what really happened and why the wives left him. He just returned home just yesterday and realized that he is no more a married man, but now automatically a single man with children. And according to reports, it was cited that Peter walked away from his village, that's at Makele village, in 1974 at the age of 37. Before he left, he told his family members that he was going in search for greener pastures so he can get something stable as to help him fend for his wives and his children, because he had 5 kids from these women. Although details of where he was headed and also his expected return date was not even mentioned, as you will go on a trip and you tell somebody or you tell your family members, I'm embarking on a trip for 3 days, I'll be back either on the fourth day. He didn't say anything. To them, they felt okay, the husband and their father is going somewhere to search for a job so that he can get a stable source of income. And when he left in 1974, he only returned back to his village in Makele in 1983. He returned again in 1992. He left and returned again in 1996. Friends, could you believe that this return this man did after he left in 1974 and returned back in this 3 consecutive times? He never set foot in his own family house. So you can see the genesis of this whole problem. Sometimes some people will just make statements without analyzing whom or where the fault is coming from. And unknown to his family members that their husband and father had returned back to their village but did not come to their own home. He was residing somewhere else. How can you leave your wife and kids? Not for months, not for days, not for weeks, but for years. He left them, returned, and not go back to the house. And so when his wives waited for years, 1974, imagine 1974, 75, 76, you didn't see anybody. They didn't see their husband who left the house, telling them he's going in search for a job and never returned. Years passed by without them seeing him, and no means of communication as of that time when he even left. There was no phones that you could have, mobile cell phones carrying around, so it was difficult for them to even reach or contact him. And to make matters worse, he never told them his destination, where he was going in search for a greener pasture. What are you expecting these young women? As of that time then, they were very young and they felt they are just wasting, staying in the house. They are not even sure whether the man is still alive or if something had happened or he's locked up somewhere. No one could even say his whereabouts. Not even the village elders. Nobody could ascertain where he had gone to. They searched for him. No one could find him. And what did these women do? They decided to move on with their lives. And they remarried and started life all over again. Just yesterday, September 21st, 2021, Mr. Peter returned to his own village, his own home, village where he was staying with his wife and kids. Friends, you can imagine someone who left since 1974. He came to that same vicinity, that same community, but never went to his own home. Only until yesterday, 2021, how many years difference has this man left? He now came back and he met few people who could only recognize him. Now he's already old. He's not as young as he was, 37 years and 84 years. A whole lot of difference. So not everybody can easily recognize him. One of his daughter-in-laws who saw him as soon as he entered the compound raised alarm and started screaming that she thought he was a stranger who just trespassed into their compound. And in line with their custom in that village, someone who disappears without any notice, without any information, when you return back, they're supposed to have a good sacrifice for you to cleanse the land and also to pacify the ancestors before that person. They identify them as prodigal sons. That's how they call them. Like the prodigal son in the Bible that left his father's house unknown to his father where he was going to. And when he returned, although that's the son of a king, they did a whole lot. But I'm saying with regards to this, they are practicing that as well for his own. As he has returned after so many years, they need to sacrifice a goat to pacify the gods before the prodigal son would now come back to his own home. Okay, when he now returned to the compound, after his daughter-in-law had screamed and was scared that this is a stranger, people who'd recognize him was able to explain to the daughter-in-law and told her that this is your father-in-law who left so many years and had just returned. He now asked where are his wives. His son now told him that they waited and they didn't see him. Years went by. They felt nothing for them to hold on to and say this is where he is or this is when he's returning. His unknown whereabouts and disappearance led them to leaving the house. They had to remarry someone else, and also to make matters worse, the son even told the dad that his wives had dropped his memories behind, meaning they don't have any business with him anymore. Peter now said that though he was grateful that his family had accepted him back, that he was only disappointed that his wives did not wait for him. Friends, is this not so funny? After how many years of disappearance, no word from him, write letters. In those days, the means of communication was through letter before mobile phones were in existence. He didn't write any letter, and to make it worse, he was even in their community but never visited the home. And he said this, I wish my wives were here today to welcome me home. He said, as you dress your bed, that's how you will lay on it. The way he made his bed, that's the way he's going to lie on it, because he was the cause of this whole thing. You don't disappear on people and then you expect them, especially women, you expect them to stay and wait for you. And they endured a lot because they stayed for years before they had to go and remarry. He kept on saying, I wish my two wives well in their marriages. However, I would like them to know that I am still alive and that they should create time and visit me. He even said that when he was away, he went all the way to Tanzania and spent 13 years there. What kind of greener pasture is this? He went on foot and then he landed in a different country. Aside from that, he was wandering around, came back to his own community and never went home. He said while he was away in Tanzania, he fell in love with a woman, and not just that their union produced a child. And he stayed in the country and he ended up deciding that he wanted to return back to his home country in Kenya. And when he left, he lost communication with his Tanzania lover. Lamented, saying that the Tanzanian woman even didn't want him to see their son. And friends, how he was discovered was met someone who helped him to post him on Facebook. So they posted his pictures on Facebook and the person wrote that he's trying to locate his family. He wants someone who can easily identify him to come and help him so that he can go into the country, into his own village. It was difficult since he left for so many years. One of his sons, whom he left at the age of 6, now 53 years old, saw that post on Facebook. That was exactly on Monday, and then he realized that this is his father. That was when the son now had to go. They located him where he was and they brought him back home. The father was saying that he started an onions farm, but due to his health, that he started having health issues, that all the money ran into medical treatment, and that is the reason why he's now back home. You see how some people can be, which means things was okay for him. He now felt the best thing for him to do was to start another family with a Tanzanian woman whom he has a son with. And when things started going bad, he now remembered his home, his children and his wives he left behind. Friends, what can you conclude about this old man, Peter, of 84 years old? Please, friends, hearing this now, do you think his wives were not justified? for leaving him? Alright, come to think of it, a man who left and never said a word, left not just for months but for so many years. And he was married to young women. Imagine that his wives were still very young as of the time he left them. And they felt there was no point sitting down here and waiting for a man they are not even sure if he is still coming back or if he is even alive. And that was why they had to go and start off a family on their own. And today he's sharing his disappointment that he's so heartbroken to hear that his wives didn't wait for him. Friends, will you wait for someone that you're not even sure of the person coming back? It's a different case if the man was in jail and you know that, okay, this is the number of time he has to spend in jail and he'll be back. But this is a man, no one even knew where he was headed. No one even knew when he was coming back. So it was that bad that a lot of people even felt that he's a forgotten man. Either he's dead or either something terrible has happened to him and he can't find his way back home. And today his wives are happily married and starting another family. And he started his own family with a Tanzanian woman. Unfortunately, it didn't go down well with them when he decided that he's coming back to his own home to see his wife and his kids. Friends, please, whatever you feel about this, you could please put that down at the comment section. Right now, his son has taken him into his own house and decided that he's going to keep his father with him and take care of him, help him with his health issues, knowing that his father is 84 years old, and at this time, since he's not feeling well, anything can happen. They've pardoned him. Also, that goat sacrifice was done. They had to sacrifice the goat to appease the gods so that Peter can come into his home and be with his family once again. It's always good to say something to people. Aside from either you don't want your wives to leave you and all of that, but for security reasons, so that if in case of anything, people could know where they could go in search for you. His wife said they didn't even know where to go and look for him because he never told them his destination, neither did he tell them his date of return. All they felt was, okay, he will go in search for a job. If he gets something, he will come back, and then they know that, all right, the husband will be away for some time. There was no information or hope for them to know that their husband was going to return. But good a thing that his son has forgiven him and decided to take care of him. No matter what happens, our parents are always our parents. We would always watch out for them, especially when they are old. Friends, thank you for coming up today. Please don't forget to hit on the like button. Also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. Thank you. God bless you all.